Hey, Sean from Grim Parts Co. Today I've got this FXR frame we just got from Powder Coat, and I want to go over some simple early on procedures to save you a lot of time in the future. This may be intuitive for some of you, but I've noticed for a lot of you it's not. Doesn't matter whether it's an FXR, a chopper, a bagger, whatever you've got, when you get it back from Powder Coat, don't just start sticking stuff. Oh, my fucking shoe's loose. All right, hold on, please. Bendix sucks. Alrighty. When you get your frame, doesn't matter if it's FXR, chopper, bagger, doesn't matter what it is, you get it back from Powder Coat, resist the temptation to just start bolting parts on. There's a couple steps you need to take that'll save you a lot of time and hassle as you're putting everything together. All right, so if your frame gets powder coated, the first thing they're gonna do is sandblast it, and then they're gonna go through a cleaning process and they're gonna coat it. Inevitably, sand finds its places in all the crevices. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is go through and chase every single thread on the frame and clean up any excess powder coat around the holes. So I've got some special tools I'm gonna show you that I use every time I get a fresh frame back, and there's some simple tools, but they make the job so much easier.
Start with this is.
Okay. Thank you. This is one of my favorite little tools. It's a re-threading kit. It's not a tap and die set. What this kit does comes with die looking items and tap looking items, but they're softer. They don't actually cut the threads, but they'll clean shit out of the threads, and they'll actually kind of repair some threads if they're a little damaged or bunged up. This kit's super handy to have. Another thing I use on the lathe for all the sheet metal work and stuff is a deburr tool, so I use this for a lot of things. This is great for cleaning powder coat out of holes and spots that have an edge that you want to clean up, or maybe it's a little thick and you want to try to soften that edge up. This is a great tool for that. Plain old razor blade, a couple sharp ones of these is always good for trimming stuff up. Some painter's tape to protect any areas so you don't screw up if you slip and scratch a frame up. Sometimes you might need to save yourself from yourself. And last but not least, not necessary, but I like to use these. These are countersink bits. Plug them into your drill. On tapered holes, you can clean the powder coat. Sometimes I just use them by hand too. This is another really handy little tool to have. Okay, so we got this killer midnight blue powder coated frame. This frame we put our strut extensions on. When it's all powder coated, man, they just look like they were always on there. This section's a great example of why we want to clean up our powder coat. If you look here, you'll see this thick lip around. They put silicone plugs in here, but that inevitably gathers around the hole, and it's going to leave sort of this ugly edge that can peel the powder coat in when you start threading stuff. It's going to make it difficult to thread things. So we're going to go through and we're going to fix this. First thing I want to do is just carefully come in here with the deburr tool and slowly start to round some of that out. Go both ways. I need my fucking glasses for this shit. All right, so next, you obviously want to make sure you have the right thread pitch. I know these are 3/8/16. Don't try to run the wrong thread chaser in there because that'll ruin your day. Then just take and run this guy all the way through. Okay, once you run the tap through there, make sure to run some compressed air. Get everything out of that hole. Large threaded holes like this, a lot of times this tool will work good. I'll just slip it in here and just slowly spin it, which will clean up that edge. All right, so you go through and chase all your holes like I showed you. On FXRs, I actually put little ground spots here. So I'm gonna clean these out. One of the things I like to do on all ground spots is go ahead and clean the face of it so that when you run your eyelets and stuff, it gets a nice, clean, strong ground contact. Right angle grinder, Scotch-Brite pad on it, and very, very carefully just go through and clean this outside edge off. When I do final assembly, I'll run a little dielectric grease on there and tighten my grounds on, and they hook up real nice. So the name of this game is prepping everything. You're gonna be installing your neck bearings. This is an area that all the sand and stuff gets caught up in. There's typically some residual oil and that sort of stuff. So I use brake clean on a rag. Just go through and make sure you thoroughly clean this out. Check for any burrs or anything while you're in there that you can sand back so that when you do go install your neck bearing cups, they'll go in nice, smooth, and easy for you. FXRs are all rubber mounted, and there's not a lot of ground points that you need to clean up. There's another one down here that I'll add. If you're running a Softail or a chopper frame, anywhere the motor and tranny mounts meet, you want to make sure that's nice and clean. Typically, we tape those off pre-powder coat, but if you didn't do that, make sure you gently go through and clean off all those surfaces. You have a nice ground contact between your motor and the frame. So we're a two-man shop. We're busy. We got a lot going on, but we're trying to keep putting these videos together for you. for you. Make sure you go to YouTube, follow our channel, Grim Parts Co. Go check out our website, see if you can pick up something you might need.